Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a client of mine who I've been working with for 6 months now. It's a gentleman called Q. Q, hello, welcome to the channel.
Hello, thank you.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to talking about your journey over the last sort of 6 months. So if it's okay with you, we'll dive straight into the questions.
Let's go.
Fantastic. So obviously, as I've just mentioned, you came to me 6 months ago. So let's paint a picture. Let's
Okay.
tell everyone what your life was like before working with me. What sort of specific things were you struggling with?
Okay. Um, so my life, or I could talk about what was going on in my mind, right?
Hmm.
So my mind felt like a bit of a mess. Okay. So, there was kind of part of my mind that wanted to be at a different place. There was part of my mind, that would be, what was kind of like okay with kind of where I was going, right? And there's part of my mind that was looking back and thinking, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that was a better position and I should be at that position. So there was like a lot of internal conflict, right?
Hmm.
And then that kind of internal conflict was kind of burning me out, right? So I couldn't really progress. I couldn't focus on what I actually wanted. And there was times when kind of I would get confused as to even what it was that I did want to achieve or do in life.
Hmm.
So then it was like a state of confusion.
Okay. So you were in a state of confusion. Something happened. You reached out to me and we discussed a couple of things on the very first call. And you said there was a couple of things specifically that you wanted help with, which we'll touch on later, which I'm smiling and you know why I'm smiling. But there was two
Yeah,
things. So would you like to
yeah,
share that?
yeah. So, so I, I think kind of like the primary thing was I wanted to sit a exam so that I
Hmm.
could gain a certain certification, and and over kind of many years of struggling to actually even sit any exam, right? Because you see, I would kind of go as far as scheduling a test, but then I never got around to actually doing the test because
Hmm.
I couldn't get myself prepared for the exam. So then I would just end up rescheduling it. Then kind of after doing this many times, I kind of like analyzed why is it that I can't reach that point. Then kind of I like identified a couple of things that were always stopping me, right?
Yeah.
So one of them, or probably one of the biggest factors, the would have been my relationship with a certain close family member. Okay,
Hmm.
so so the way that I dealt with this relationship had a great impact on me, or rather,
Yeah.
the way that I didn't deal with this had a great impact on me, and it would kind of burn me out. And also, I kind of like I kind of like uh, had some habits, right, that would kind of consume my time, right,
Hmm.
and then rather than focusing on things that would help me achieve my goal, which my goal was to at least sit the exam, right? I would kind of get consumed by these habits, and these kind of habits would then kind of consume my time, consume my energy, and I wouldn't have it, and I wouldn't have the time that I needed to put into studying so that I could be ready to sit the exam.
Okay. So just to clarify, there was three things that you initially approached me with.
Yeah.
The relationship you had with somebody within your family member,
Hmm.
the exam that you wanted to finally sit, and this bad
Yeah.
habit that you wanted to break. And we quickly
Yeah.
established that I could absolutely help you with two out of the three,
Yeah.
which I think it was very important to me at the very beginning to manage your expectations.
Yeah.
And as soon as we had that conversation, we established that okay, these are the two areas we will work on.
Yeah.
But tell me, what exactly happened before you reached out to a coach? Because often there's normally one thing that happens, and people think, I really need to get some help here. I really need some support. I need someone to help me get to where I want to get to. So, what was it that happened for you?
Well, you see, I felt I probably reached a stage where I felt extremely frustrated, right?
Hmm.
In the sense that I kind of knew what I wanted to do in life, right? I kind of knew where I wanted to take my career, and then each time that I kind of plan to take some action towards it, you know, I would, as I said, I would get consumed, right, by my kind of bad habit, right?
Hmm.
So that would just consume me. I couldn't, I lacked the self discipline that I needed to kind of like break out, right, and kind of say, actually, I don't want to be spending days on this, right? I should be focusing on stuff that I do want to do. And, I think kind of like I reached out to you in early October, am I right?
October,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. So then, every month I would kind of check the date for my upcoming test. And, you'd be like, okay, I've got a couple of months left. Let's, let's get the work in, right? And, I would say, okay, I'm going to focus only on my goal and I'm not going to focus on anything else.
Hmm.
But every time I try to do that, I just fell back, right? And I would just go back into my old routine. I would still kind of do the stuff that I don't want to be doing. I'll be,
Yeah.
wasting my time. I'll be wasting my energy. And it came to a point when kind of I said, "This is enough, right? I've tried it. I can't do it. I need help."
Mm, yeah. And there's some real strength in that, like you just said then. Push comes to shove and you think, you know what, I'm really struggling with this on my own. I need to try and get some help. And it
Yeah,
takes a lot of
yeah,
courage for people to say that, especially men, in my opinion. It's difficult because I found certainly with coaching clients, primarily 80% of them are women. And a lot of that, I think, comes from men wanting to stereotypically do it all on their own and I don't
yeah,
need any
yeah,
help. And there's some real, as I said, humility and tremendous amount of courage to reach out and be like, actually, I could do with some help with this. I've done it
yeah,
myself with fitness. I've hired a PT, a physical trainer. I need someone to hold me accountable because that's something I've tried to do on my own and I've
yeah.
not succeeded. So
It's
I've
hard.
hired someone else. Yeah, absolutely. So that was 6 months ago. So
Yeah.
today's the 1st of April. So that was just when we finished working together, it'll actually be 7 months. So that was six or 7 months ago. Now,
Mhm.
when you were in that sort of frame of mind, things were really difficult. You
Yeah.
finally reached out, you had things you wanted to focus on, and you wanted someone to help you through all of those things. So now,
Yeah.
fast forward to today. Tell me a bit about your life now. How has it
Okay.
differed from before you started working with me to after working with me for 6 months?
Okay.
What
Sure.
things have you achieved?
Sure. Okay. So that would be very easy to kind of like explain because I kind of feel it on a daily basis, right?
Okay.
So first of all, I lacked discipline
Hmm.
at that time, and because I lacked the discipline, I couldn't really do the stuff that I wanted to do, and that in turn made me lack confidence. Okay. So, as I said earlier, the kind of ask from you was to kind of help me be in a position where I can sit the exam, right?
Hmm. That was the
So,
goal, wasn't it?
passing, sorry?
The
Yeah,
goal was to sit the exam.
correct, correct. So the outcome of the actual exam, it didn't really concern me at the time because,
Hmm.
I had struggled for years just to get as far as sitting the exam, right? So, so now, I think I like after spending 12 weeks with yourself, it came the big day, right? I sat the exam, I passed the exam, right? Which was something like I was like, whoa, right? How did that happen, right? And
Yeah.
then, so after passing it, I realized, right, that kind of like I've been on a 12-week journey, right, up until that point.
Hmm.
And then I would say, kind of like the best thing that came out of that was not just passing the exam, but it was actually learning the kind of discipline that kind of helped me pass the exam. Now
Yeah.
I've been kind of able to keep that discipline going. I've now become more confident. I've taken on more challenges in life, right? And then I feel like a whole better person. And now it's not just about me just stressing about whether I can reach a point where I can sit a test. Now, I've got kind of bigger goals. So then for me, what once seemed impossible now just seems, you know, just the norm now, right? I've scheduled two more exams. I've joined the gym now, right?
Mhm.
So it's like I could just simply say this, right? So you ask me, how do I feel now, right? I would just say I feel fantastic now. I feel great. Yeah,
It's so nice to hear. And, to be quite frank with you, when you first started working with me, we talked about this bad habit that you had. And to be
yeah,
honest, you said, Sean, I've been struggling with this bad habit for almost a decade now. And
yeah,
we fast very quickly realized that it was two things you wanted to do, which was to sit the exam and break this bad habit. And
yeah.
you now sit here 6 months in, and you've not done that habit for 6 months, and you've
Correct,
not only
correct.
not only
Yeah,
sat your exam, but you've passed your exam,
yeah,
which
yeah,
fills me with joy because I remember speaking with you and I thought, oh, this is a guy who has told me he's struggled, he's done it on his own, it's not worked, he's hired other coaches, and I was
I have.
thinking,
Yeah,
right, okay, this is going to be a good test for me. So it's, if I'm being quite frank with you, the work we've done together has been some of my most proud work that I've done with a lot of the clients. And I run a coaching practice of 30
yeah,
clients, but I often speak about your story and your success and how it's elevated your confidence, because it's elevated your confidence and I can visually see it. And the great thing about that is once we get to a place where we never thought was possible, our whole life and our whole perception of everything else changes. The
yeah.
relationships we have with family, the relationship we have with friend, business, our career, it's incredible. And that's why I'm very
Absolutely.
fond of the work we've done together. So
Thank you.
just on that point, Q, what would you say then is being the sort of the thing that you're most proud of achieving since working with me? What would you say is the thing you're most proud of?
I would say it would it would it would be learning self-discipline.
Mm,
So once you can master that, then you have more control over what you do, when you do it, and how you do it, right?
yeah.
So then if it's something, it could be something as simple as, binge watching Netflix, right?
Mm,
Getting hooked on computer games, right? And there could be a time when you would say, actually, today I don't want to, spend 5 hours in front of my TV. I want to do something else. But if you don't have the discipline, then you're going to struggle to do that. So then you're going to
yeah.
struggle to step away, right? So after you've learned that or you've mastered that, then kind of you could actually say, actually, today, you know, I'm not going to spend 3 hours playing games. I'm going to prep for some exam, or I'm going to learn how to cook, or I'm going to hit the gym, right?
Mhm.
So for me, it's definitely learning self-discipline. It's kind of controlling myself so that I could kind of utilize the time that I have each day, right, to kind of further my goals, rather than to do something that kind of whilst I'm doing it, I may be kind of immersed in it, and then after I've done it, I'll be thinking I shouldn't have been doing that. I've wasted my time, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, yeah,
Well, thanks for sharing that, because I think there's a lot of sort of power in self-discipline. I've worked with clients before who have struggled with addiction. I've worked with clients who want to stop smoking, who
yeah,
are addicted to porn and things. And it
hmm,
does require a lot of self-control and self-discipline in any walk of life. A lot of sort of the work I do, there's elements of my role that I absolutely love, and there's elements of my role that I don't enjoy, like doing the tax return and putting through expenses. But I
yeah,
have to discipline myself every day to do these things that I don't quite frankly like doing. So
hmm,
yeah, there's a lot of strength in self-discipline, and I would say we've worked together really hard to
Yes,
ensure that that has been the sort of the forefront of the work we've done together. And the results
absolutely.
are there. You know, you've
Yes.
managed to pass this exam with
Yeah.
flying colours, and now, as you said, you've completely sort of shifted your mindset. So I just want to sort of ask you this, because you've mentioned to me that you worked with two other coaches in the past. So I want
Yeah.
to ask, how would you say I have differed from those two other coaches?
Sure. Okay. So, so first of all, I wouldn't take away any credit from those two coaches, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I tried, right? So I think kind of like my first coaching session was back, if I'm not wrong, right? I think it was as far as back as 2017, and then my second one was probably end of 2018, right? Around about that time. I could be wrong, right? But I believe it was kind of those sort of time scales. So now being completely honest, right? So I found your coaching style uh, very different to kind of like any other coach that I've had. And the biggest difference was that I saw this kind of personal stake that kind of you have, right, when you're coaching, right? So it's like I could kind of have a coach, and when we're meeting, so the coach, would kind of spend the 45 minutes or kind of like the full hour, would kind of, go through my goals, give me guidance, give me tips. And once the coaching session is finished, that's it, they're done, right? And when we were meeting again, I couldn't really feel kind of like they had, like a personal stake in my progress, right?
Mm,
Whereas every session that we had with you, right, it was like you were very much interested in my progress.
mm,
Uh, you know, I kind of, there were days when like I didn't want to do the work, right? I'm being completely honest. I was like, you know, all of the bad habits I had, I was quite happy just to fall back again, right? But then I was like, no, but I'm meeting Sean in 3 days, right? How can I say to him, I slipped up again, I wasted my day, I haven't done any studying, right? So then it's like, I really felt the passion from you, right? I really felt like kind of you wanted me to do well, right? So that would be the biggest difference that I felt.
thank you. Sincerely, thank you. You know, that it's nice to see that that comes through in the work that I've done with you in the past,
Hmm.
because anyone who meets me outside knows how passionate I am about helping people to get the results that they want. And in a
Yeah,
sense, for me, if I don't get my clients the results that they hire me for, then I then question myself, what could I have done differently? Did I
hmm,
support them enough? Could I have done this differently? So it's nice to see that that is transparent, and you can
yeah,
see, like you said, you use the word have a stake. It's because your personal development, and I've always said this to you, is paramount to me.
yeah.
And it's nice to see that that is apparent. So thank you for sharing that. Um, so one last question. I get a lot of clients that enroll in a discovery call with me,
Hmm.
and they sort of are a bit optimistic. So I want to ask you, we've worked together for 6 months, coming up to 7 months very soon. And this is quite direct, but I feel it's necessary. A lot
Hmm.
of people, the objection they have is the cost. No one has a budget for coaching, and I get it. We have
Yeah,
budgets for everything else, all of
yeah,
these things that we don't really need, we spend money on, but no one has a
yeah.
coaching budget. So I want to ask you quite directly, would you say that investing in yourself, would you say that the money has given you the results you wanted?
So, uh, you know, I'm going to be absolutely honest, right? So I would say it's given me more than what I initially asked for, right? So, yeah, it's definitely, as you said, so people don't have a budget. Some people would, probably financially struggle to kind of hire a coach. Uh, I would say it's definitely worth it. If you've kind of reached a stage in your life where you know you got the potential to kind of achieve more, right? You know you could kind of reach greater heights, right? So spending, whatever amount it is that kind of like the coach would charge, right?
Mhm.
That that investment would definitely, right, pay off in the long run. You know, everything that I have achieved is definitely evident of that, right? So whatever I had invested in coaching
Mhm.
has kind of come back to me, right? Because my mind is more clearer. I can I can now focus on, better things. I can kind of focus on bettering my career. I can kind of focus on actually, what, these sort of habits are costing me money, right? So and when you gain, you know, more self discipline, then basically you will know where to channel your energy, and if you channel your energy in the right places, so you could kind of definitely get back more than what you invested in terms of money and time.
Perfect.
So I've got loads of spare time now, right? Because all the things that I need to do, rather than sitting there and procrastinating and or kind of going to various YouTube videos or listening to songs, that I'm not really even into, just saying, oh, I wonder what that sounds like. I wonder what that clip's about, right? So I focus, I do the tasks that I need to do, and then after I'm done, I've got tons of spare time now, right? So I can
Mhm.
now use that spare time to either hit the gym or or do something productive or just chill out, right? Whereas
Yeah.
in the past, I'll be con- I'll be kind of wasting about 70 to 80% of my time by just procrastinating. And now with this spare time, you could pick up a second job if you want to, right? You could kind of, you know, plan how to spend your income more wisely, right?
Mhm.
So the simple answer is absolutely, right? Investing in coaching definitely pays off.
Thank you very much.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here now.
Absolutely, my
Yeah,
friend, absolutely. And we've done some brilliant work together. And as I said, I'm really proud of the work we've done. It's been brilliant for me to see you develop over the last 6 months as well. I would say, and I don't think I've mentioned this to you before, but I would say the Q that I met 6 months ago is totally different to the Q I work with today. And
absolutely.
and it's a pleasure to see. So, Q, thank you very much for your time. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And I will see you later on for our session.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Take care, my friend.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.